So Spanish has two different classifications of nouns. They call these classifications masculine and feminine, and every single noun is considered either masculine or feminine. Now, that doesn't mean that they think a table's a girl or a book is a boy or something like that. That's just the classification system that they use. We also need to look at the way we talk about the word the, and The four thes are el, la, los, and las. El and la are the singular thes, with el being the masculine singular and la being the feminine singular. Los matches up with a plural masculine noun, and las matches up with a plural feminine noun. Now, how do we know if a noun is masculine or feminine? Well, one easy way is that typically if a noun ends in an O, it's considered masculine. If it ends in an A, it's considered feminine. To make nouns plural, we simply add an S if it ends in an O or an A. Therefore, if it ends in an OS, it's masculine, plural. If it ends in an AS, it's feminine, plural. So if we look at an example, such as chica, which is a girl, that ends in an A, and so that is a feminine noun. Now, obviously, it makes sense that a girl would be a feminine noun, right? Therefore, if we're talking about the girl, we would have to use the feminine singular noun, which would be la. If we're talking about multiple girls, then it would become chicas, and we would need to use the feminine plural noun, or excuse me, which would be las. Similarly, if we look at a word like libro, which is book in Spanish, that ends in an O, so that is masculine. So if we were going to talk about the book, we would say el libro, using the singular masculine the. If we were talking about multiple books, we would use los for libros, which is the plural for a masculine noun. So again, our choices are el, la, los, and las. Now, not every noun ends in an O or an A. There are some that you just kind of have to learn. If we're talking about then we would choose from un or una, depending on if our noun is masculine or feminine. So if we pick a masculine noun, again, let's do libro, and we want to say a libro, a book, we would say un libro. Now, if we wanted to pick something feminine, such as a table, which is mesa, then we would say una mesa, a table. If we are going to make those plural, to make them be some books and some tables, then we would have to choose the plural form of our some. So our choices there are unos or unas, depending on the gender of the noun. So if we're sticking with our example of libros and mesas, for libros, we would use unos because it is a masculine noun. And for tables, we would choose unas because it is a feminine noun. Hopefully that clears some of this up. We'll continue practicing as we go. See you later. Hasta luego.